The PlayStation 5 has now been out for a quarter of a year, and more fans are starting to get their hands on this highly anticipated console. I know it's been difficult getting your hands on one of these, but I can say for myself, it's definitely been worth it. I think the PS5 is a great console, and early on, I think the PlayStation 5 has had a good lineup of games. This is still very early on, being only a few months old, but when I sat down and really started to look at it, I was pleasantly surprised by how many good games the PS5 already has. Now, I will post an updated video closer to the end of the year as more games do release, but with this video, we're going to take a look at the top 10 best games for the PS5 as of the making of this video. All of these games have official releases for the PS5, but do keep in mind that there are some really good enhanced PS5 games as well, which is another good reason to own it. God of War and Ghost of Tsushima runs phenomenally well on the PS5, but with that said, let's get right into the list. At number 10, I have Bugsnax, which was widely criticized before the launch of the PS5. Do not let that sway you though. This game might really surprise you if you haven't already played it. It's a weird game where you catch bugs that's made out of different snacks that you would eat. I mean, there's hamburger bugs, pizza flies, and just all kinds of weird combinations, and you have to find ways to capture them. It's got this almost Pokemon-esque collecting mechanic to it, and oddly enough, it just works. It all ties together with its strange sense of humor and fascinating world. You know, this is just a fun overall game that I would definitely recommend. It also makes good use of the DualSense controller and its speakers. You can actually hear the bugs with inside your controller, which adds this little extra sense of immersion, so if you are hesitant about Bugsnax, you might want to give it a try. Next up, I have Sackboy: A Big Adventure, which is a new direction for the Little Big Planet franchise. Unlike previous Little Big Planet games, this is a 3D platforming adventure, and we do need more high-quality 3D platformers like this. I really like Little Big Planet as a 2D platformer, not so much as a kart racer, but as a 3D platformer, it fits perfectly. You get all kinds of different gadgets to mix up the platforming, it's got a charming world with fun characters, and the music was fantastic. It kind of reminds me of Rayman and how they use music as a platforming mechanic. There's a few levels like that in this game, and they always know how to mix things up to constantly give you a new challenge. In fact, there is a challenge mode in this game, and better yet, it's a good cooperative game on top of that. You can play up to 4 players locally or online. If you like playing games with your family, Sackboy would be a great game to pick up. It's not too challenging, and the whole family will have a lot of fun with this game. Neo Collection is the first game on this list to get a re-release on the PlayStation 5. These games did originally release on the PS4, but oddly enough, these games for whatever reason never seem to get the attention that they truly deserve. That's where this collection comes in. You get 2 great games plus all of their DLC for the price of one, with all of the extra benefits the PS5 has to offer. They can run at 4K resolution up to 120 frames per second, and most importantly, the improvement on load time. Neo is incredibly difficult being compared to the Dark Souls franchise, so you're gonna die a lot, and that's where the solid-state drive becomes such a huge addition. It makes dying a little less frustrating, and it's not just the performance increase that is noteworthy here. Actually, these are just fantastic games to play. There's been a lot of Soulsborne imitators over the years, and Neo in a way can be compared to Dark Souls, but at the same time, it's unique and feels like its own game. If you missed out on these games in the past, it's the perfect time to check them out with the PlayStation 5 re-release collection. Control Ultimate Edition is the next and last re-release I'm going to talk about in this video, and that's because I think Control offers a brand new experience on next-generation consoles. I believe Control was one of the best single-player games available on the PlayStation 4, but unfortunately the performance was not there on last-generation consoles. It was clear the game needed more power, and the PlayStation 4 could struggle with it at times, especially if you had a standard PlayStation 4. Because of that, several fans did skip out on this amazing game. Now though, Remedy re-released this game with some major improvements across the board. No longer will you struggle with frame rate, as you have 2 different options to play Control. You can either play in performance mode, where you get a buttery smooth 60 frames per second, or you can play it in graphics mode where you get a stable 30 frames with gorgeous ray tracing. In both situations, Control Ultimate Edition looks absolutely fantastic and can show you the power of the PS5 compared to last generation. This game has a great story, cool set pieces, the combat is a lot of fun, and if you did miss out on this game before, do yourself a favor and check Control out. Immortals Fenyx Rising is one of the biggest surprises for me this generation so far. I wasn't sure how this game was going to turn out, but I was hooked from the very first moment I played this game. Yes, it has this more cartoony look to it, but everything is so vibrant and the colors just pop off the screen. It's a visually stunning game at times. What sold me on this game though is the witty banter from the characters. I don't see this often in games, but this game has a good sense of humor and can be genuinely funny. I thoroughly enjoyed the story and its narration. It doesn't stop there though. You can tell this game was heavily inspired by Zelda Breath of the Wild, but with its own unique spin on things. It's got that hack and slash combat, but you can upgrade with new moves and abilities much like an RPG. The combat looks flashy, it's fun, and it feels good. There's also puzzles to solve, dungeons to explore, you can get new mounts, and upgrade your equipment. From top to bottom, I think this is a good game that is definitely going overlooked. You can easily put a lot of hours into Immortals, and this is one of the better games that I've played recently. I actually heavily contemplated on putting this game even higher on the list. In a world where we haven't gotten a new Splinter Cell or Metal Gear Solid game in years, Hitman without a doubt has become the best stealth series in recent years, and Hitman 3 is IO Interactive's best work yet. If you've played Hitman 1 or 2, you kind of know what you're getting yourself into as you sneak around to complete a task in the way you see fit. It's more or less a playground where you slowly and methodically find ways to achieve your goals. That's where a lot of the fun comes in because there's no one set way to assassinate your target. You could either take a straightforward approach or be as creative as possible. The decision is all yours, and thanks to the level design in Hitman 3, it's an absolute joy to play through, and it has a ton of replayability. We really don't get enough games within this genre, but thankfully with Hitman 3, you're looking at some of the best the stealth genre has to offer to date. If you've been following this channel for a while, you probably know that I like Astros Playroom and Astrobot. I think these games are excellent 3D platformers. Technically, Astros Playroom is a free game that comes with every PS5, and it's built like a tech demo where it shows off all of the new features for the DualSense controller. But this game is so much more than just a simple tech demo. This is a high-quality first-party release. It's a celebration of PlayStation's history with all kinds of nods to other PlayStation franchises and devices. Everything about this game is so charming, and most importantly, it's fun. Again, this game is meant to showcase the DualSense controller and what it's capable of, and all of the things that they did was not only impressive, but it felt good to play. In one level, you play as a monkey climbing a mountain with the adaptive triggers. Each pull of the trigger gives you a realistic sensation of tension, and then you can use the gyro to swing yourself to a higher location. Then in another level, you may use the touchpad to roll yourself into a ball. There's a wide variety of activities within Astro, and thanks to its brilliant level design and fun mechanics, Astro's Playroom is a must-play for PS5 owners. There's not a game on the market that showcases the controller better, and you're in for one of the best 3D platformers I've played in years. Ubisoft has had a fast start to the new generation of consoles, getting 2 games on this list, and both of them are well-deserved. Assassin's Creed Valhalla continues the long-running franchise, and this time you take the role of a Viking. The combat is rather brutal in Valhalla, as you would expect being a Viking, and it brings back some of the RPG mechanics that recent Assassin's Creed installments have had. It refines them though, and if you like this departure on being more of an RPG-like experience, then Valhalla is something you're going to enjoy. It's also a good-looking game visually, and has a solid story in a vast open world. This is something that Ubisoft has come to be known for, as they really do make some of the better open-world games, and Assassin's Creed being their flagship franchise really shows this off with Valhalla. This is a massive game with a lot of things to do. If that's your type of game, Valhalla is a no-brainer. Insomniac Games has done it yet again with SpiderMan Miles Morales. They've pretty consistently put out great games over the years, and this really is no different. But it does kind of show you what a smart decision Sony made in acquiring them. Not only do they have a great PS5 launch title, but they also have Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart coming out on June 11th. Yeah, I'm definitely excited about that game, but back to Miles Morales, which is a follow-up to the 2018 SpiderMan game. That was one of the best PS4 exclusives, and Miles Morales is a nice follow-up. It's not drastically different, but you do play as Miles Morales, which is a much more inexperienced Spider-Man, and New York definitely realizes that. Peter Parker isn't around as he's doing his own thing, so Miles Morales is kind of learning on the job, and you can really see this in the way he fights and swings. Insomniac did a good job in putting some personality and imperfections into his animations, but also with his own unique moveset such as his lightning ability. Now this is a shorter game than what we had in 2018. It's not a full-on sequel, but rather a shorter but tight experience. So if you're looking for a full-length sequel that's 20 hours long, this won't be the game you're looking for. But if you're looking for another Spider-Man experience, Miles Morales is a worthy follow-up. And at the number 1 spot, I have the Demon's Souls remake that was very much needed from the PlayStation 3 era. I bought Demon's Souls on the PS3 when it first launched all those years ago, and I have to say, what Bluepoint did with this remake is nothing short of amazing. This game looks so good on the PS5 and is an early showcase graphically on what the PS5 is capable of. I think it's debatably the best looking next generation game out right now, but that's the thing. It's not just the visuals. Demon's Souls is the masterpiece that kicked off the Soulsborne genre, and it's still just as good, if not even better than what it was when it originally released back in 2009. The precision in combat, the level design, the atmosphere, challenging enemies and boss encounters, and everything is so perfectly done in Demon's Souls. It's the gameplay that makes this game so incredible. Now, even though Dark Souls is somewhat of a spiritual successor to Demon's Souls, there are some key differences here. As an example, this is not an open world game, but rather you travel to different locations by going to monuments, and after a specific point, you can then travel to each one in whichever order you want. All monuments are split up by having numerous well-designed bosses. As someone who doesn't necessarily think open world equals better games, I like this approach with Demon's Souls. And I'm not exaggerating on how much I enjoyed this game. I've played more games than I care to admit, and since trophies have been out, I have a grand total of 7, and most of those are from the Uncharted and Astro franchises. I'm just not a completionist, but because I like this game so much, I went ahead and beat this game, I believe it was 4 times, and got the platinum. I really did like this game a lot, and I would say for me personally, if you're looking for one game to give you an excuse to buy a PS5, this is the one right here. And I think this game will be in the top 10 PS5 games, possibly even 7 years from now. It really is that good. Anyways though, that's it for this video, but if I missed any game that you think deserves to be on this list, make sure to let me know in the comments below. If you liked the video though, don't forget to hit the bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, if you'd like to support the channel through Patreon, thank you for making this content possible. Peace out.